So hopefully you've got something similar to what I have on my screen. And I'm going to make it large. So similar to what we did in PowerPoint, you can turn on autosave and you give your document a name and save it. I don't want to do that, but if you want to turn on autosave, you can do so. I want to save my document. What is the keyboard shortcut for saving documents, Michael? Keyboard shortcut for saving document. And so I want to pick my desktop and I'll save it, pretty much give it a name. And you notice, thanks, Michael. You notice that you've got several save options. It's the same options you get when you do save as. So you can use it to save it in different versions if you want. And again, we have mentioned about earlier documents. If you want your document to be circulated to other people who may not have the latest version of your of the software. So I'll save my file. Let me just replace it in here. So we've got Control S to save file. What happens if you press Control Shift and X on your keyboard? In your case, Command Shift and S for sugar. Control S and S. Yeah. To save us. Good. So if you want to change the extension at any point in time, or you want to save another version of your document, you can use the Save As, which is the same. You can go to File, Save As, and then use the Save As option, or you use Control Shift, and then see that what's up there is almost the same as what we had for PowerPoint and then Excel as well. Yeah, in terms of the command groups, right? So we've got the paste, copy, we've got the format painter, we've got the the font size and then the type of fonts, we've got the bold, italics, and all those things in terms of text formatting. And one thing we notice in here straight away, these are enabled for us. Whereas in PowerPoint, we had to select a text for it to, or just click next to a text for it to be enabled. Yeah. All right, so let's type something, right? So, good news that it is sunny today. It's not dot, it's just telling me the finger space. It's a formatting option I've got turned off. Yeah? Okay. It's not a dot, it's just telling me the space. So if I press, you say space bar twice. So we want to enter some text. So it's just the formatting option I've got, visualization option I've got turned on right now. I can't really see, so we can turn it off at some point. Hopefully if I can see somewhere on there. Right, so yours may not appear with a dot. Don't worry about it at this moment. As these sessions go by, we will cover it, yeah? What was the keyboard shortcut for increasing font size? So I've highlighted the font I want to increase its size. Priyanka, I know you always say you know this ones. Uh-huh. Are you using Mac? Oh, okay. So anybody using Windows want to tell me the keyboard shortcut I'm using to increase this font size to ridiculous? Control Shift greater than. Yeah. So I want to change maybe the color to something else. Somebody told me what color I should use. If I can see blue from here. I believe it's that one. That's blue, right? Right. So we've got blue and that's one. And maybe shall we change the font to something else? Okay, we can change the font to that as well. It's highlighted simply because I've selected a text. And what should I do if I want to use Format Painter to copy these format features I have to the remainder of the test? Somebody guide me through it. Sorry. So I want to copy the format of this test here to the other test I've got on there, and I want someone to guide me through it. Wait, how do I do what? Sorry? The 8? This? You mean why does it look like this? Yes. Oh, it's simply because I pick random font over there. It's just some random font I chose. You can choose whichever font you want. The color, we change it to blue by using this particular. It's the same as we've done in PowerPoint. Yeah. So any further question before I carry on? Zainab, you're on your phone now. You're finishing. You come to ask me how do I do it? Increase the font size. Right. Who was talking me through it? Talk me through it. I've selected it. So I'm at the brush format painter. And then what do I do? So I should do what? Tell me again. I should do, okay, I'm going to do. Okay, cool. So that sort of takes care of the rest and copies the format across. I kind of like that particular, not the font and anything is a bit weird. I can't even read it. I kind of like using that particular tool because if you've gone through several stages of formatting a particular text, it's a lot easier to copy the content across. Let's try something. Let's say I go online. Sorry, yeah. How do you copy it? Whitney asked me. Told me about it. So basically, I select the text I want to copy across, the format I want to copy across. Then so she said, select this brush. Then afterwards, you do. That's what she said, right? So I actually want to know how you put that dot. What you click on? What dot? Which dot? Which dot? Which dot? Your cups. Sorry. That's what I'm trying to find out. Is it a dot in the space, but the spaces or that we are not worrying about as a class? So those who want to follow and follow along with the remainder of the session I'm covering, you're more than welcome to do so. If you're being distracted by the space dot, you can hold on to it for the session that I'm covering that. How about that? Yeah? Okay, so because we do have a very short time to do this because I spent a lot of time on the Excel things and we have assessment coming. So we know what is going to be assessed and what is not going to be assessed. Right, so answering the question about copying the format across. So I've selected the format painter and I'm going to drag it across. So let's say I have, I go on my browser. And so on my browser, I've searched for learn about Microsoft Word, and I'm going to randomly pick some things from different websites. Please, if you're going to ask me in a few minutes, all I'm doing now is just copying some text from different internet sources, okay? And I'll go down and I'll paste whatever I copied there. Let me delete this image. I don't want to. So to delete it, I simply select the image and press the backspace. So I've copied one content from internet source. I just want to copy something from another source. So I'll go back and then copy something else from a different source. Yep, something you shouldn't do. So we've got three different tests in our document. And let's say I want to copy, move this down and then type something. So this is the format I wish to retain. And I want to change that to Times New Romans because it's mostly used, or Calibri or something. So I just go for Times New Romans. And I want to reduce the font size to about 12. To about 12, and I want to change the color to black. So the font I'm using is Times New Romans, and then I've changed the font size to 12, and I've changed the color back to black. And we notice that, so the first test, or first line of test is Times New Romans. The next one is something else in terms of different font. If you can see the font I'm currently on at this point. And the test I've copied from the internet, this one is also of a different font. That's also of a different font. And we go further down because I copied from two different sources. That one is also on a different, for a different font. So I would say there's a question for me. Apoka, I'm trying to find out what you mean, whether you can write your essay in this form. Do you mean the copy and paste? Please don't do that.
No, I'm talking about this first one that is in blue.
It will make your report look a bit weird. That's why I'm actually going with Times New Romans. And in the past, it was just, that was the format that was mostly acceptable, but now people use Calibri, or if I use LaTeX, my font will look slightly different as well. I can show you some reports I've written for some of the studies I've done, and I'll show you the font that is generated with LaTeX as well, if you want to see. Yeah?
Okay.
You probably can do, I don't know, poster design or something else. It would just look a bit weird. Even I can read it right now. I can simply select the format I'm interested in painting to, and I can go all the way down to make sure that all of them are in the same format for me. Now, what we notice, I normally do not like this. It's just me, right? I don't like it when the text look like all the way, it's left aligned. It doesn't look that clean. So I normally like to justify it. If I can see from here, it's one of these, it's over there. I can't see. What's the question for? Sorry? What? Between the text. Yeah, we can go in there or you can do it. It's affecting your eyes. Don't look at it. What line spacing do you want to use? 0.0 what? Let's go for 1.5.
Michael.
Yes, please.
When they say double line spacing, does it mean 2.0?
That's an interesting question. Whether it's one, I know the line spacing for most tests will be 1.5. I use 1 sometimes, but whether if they say double and you're going for 2, that's what it is. But if you need to justify with whoever is giving you the requirement, it's best you ask them, but you know how to set it from here. If you need to do something a bit more specific, because when she asks the question, then you can go in here to change it. What I normally I normally tend to use a lot when it comes to these ones, because I noticed that, of course, I've got a paragraph or I've got a heading on there, and then I've got some text. If I'm trying to reduce it and it's not working for me, I can just go on there and I can just get rid of this, and I can click that one to adjust it normally if it doesn't work. But in this case, it works for me. So sometimes if you're trying to reduce this and it doesn't work, it's just because it's giving different format for headings and other things. That's something we can also do practically later as well. But we've done justifying, we've done format painting, we've done inputting some tests. Actually, implicitly as well, you've also done some copying and pasting. Yeah. And we are familiar with most of these keyboard shortcuts. The only thing I mentioned on top of the shortcuts we know is the Command Shift and then S. And I know it didn't work for some versions on Windows. It gave something else, but you can simply select File and click Save As. So you did mention, somebody mentioned Control J. I want to try that to see what happens. Right, we can go through this and Command W, cancel, we'll say, and then that quits. I have to find one more keyboard shortcut because the Mac version is playing up. Right, okay, so someone did say, sorry? Right, so if you want to justify to the right, to, of course, center, and then, of course, to the left, again, keyboard, you can go for Command R or Command E for center. And the last one not working for me, so I'll just use press that. Are you happy up to this point? Was that a yes?